We just completed the cast on, but I need 40 rows of this 1x1 ribbing. So all I'm going to do is leave the setup the way it is and just knit 40 rows. It's going to do knit on the front, knit on the back in this 1x1 rib, and I'll get that done. I'm going to go back to my board and press the ABC button so that I can go to stitch pattern A. I'm going to press enter. Now it's asking me for SX on the front bed. And I'll go ahead and do that, SX. And it says GX for the back lock. Tells me to go right, empty, no yarn. I have the symbol telling me to put the racking handle down. It was up for the 1x1 rib, but now for stitch pattern A, we need to go to with the racking handle down. Tells me to take a look at the needles on the front bed, and it put all the pushers up, which means all these are going to knit. The problem is right now I have 1x1 rib, so I'm going to have to move all those back bed stitches to the front. So I'm just going to go ahead and press enter, asking me to check the needles on the front bed, and then it wants me to go back. It says for me to grab color number 1, press enter, ask me for the stitch size. Since this is a single bed knit, I'm going to go to 6.5. That's what my pattern calls for. Now it asks for strip B, which means the black strippers. And so I'll take out the orange strippers that I had in and replace them with black strippers. Press enter. The next direction, it tells me to put the front lock on LX. But I don't want to start LX yet. I'm going to go ahead and set the lock to that. I've got to take these back bed stitches and put them to the front. Let me show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to take this double-eyed bodkin and I'm just going to use it to move the stitches to the front. So let me go ahead and get all these needles, all the stitches moved to the front. Okay, I'm doing the last stitch from the back bed to the front bed. I had to move the edge springs in order to get that stitch from the back to the front. Now I have to put this edge spring back on. One of the really important things you need to know when you put an edge spring is you have to move the latch up so the edge spring sits on that. So here's the latch. Make sure that that's up before I put that edge spring back down. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the left hand side. So now I like to pause. Before I start, I'm doing one bed knitting on the front bed, which means it's going to knit all these needles. I just moved the back stitches to the front. And one of the things that you really need to make sure, because those needles have moved, is that they sit back down so they don't go into work or partly work and it stops your knitting. So for front bed, it asked me to do LX. Doing stitch size 6.5, I have black strippers in, and I think I'm ready to knit. I'm doing stitch pattern A, which is the single bed knitting. Okay, I just finished the stitch pattern A, and now I want to move to stitch pattern B. So again, we go up to the electronics, press the button, It's already done A, so it's going to say, hey, do you want stitch pattern B? If I didn't want B, I could actually press that again and it would go to C, D, etc. But B is what I want, so I press enter. It says put the front bed at SX, put the back bed at GX, and go to the right empty. Again, it's telling me make sure the racking handle's down. Anytime it blinks, it's waiting for a response. You have to make a response in order to go to the next step. So it's asking me now for me to check the needles. If I were to bring this back like this, I get an error because it wasn't expecting that. It was blinking and it expected me to answer either yes or no. So now we're going to go back to where it asks you to put it in the starting position. It says, hey, we're working on stitch pattern B. Put it at SX, which it already is. Put it at GX, which it already is. And go to the right empty. Racking handle down. Again, it's blinking. Check the needles on the front bed. They're good this time. Instead of me running it back, I'm going to press enter. See, it's no longer blinking. So that means that I can knit. So I'm going to take it to the right empty because it says r.empty. I don't know if you can see this, but because I put in stitch pattern B, it's actually a fairisle, so I have pushers that are up and pushers that are down. This is a two-color fairisle. So what it'll do is take this first color, go across and knit those that are up, go back again, pick up the next color, and these are going to go up. These will go down, these will go up, and so it knows to knit. So I'm going to do red and white, red and white. At the time that it blinks that color 2 by 2, 2 rows, one color, 2 rows the other, I have to put in color number 1. It's not going to tell me to do that at any other time. So now I have to remember, do 2 rows of one color, 2 rows of the next color. I'll go ahead and press enter. Now it asks me stitch size. I'm going to stay with the 6.5 that I did for stitch pattern A. So I just press enter. Make sure I have the black strippers in. Front bed LX. And there is nothing on the back bed, it's still at GX. So we'll go ahead and do a couple rows of the fairisle, stitch pattern B. So color number 2. Okay, and then color number 2. Color number 1 again. And my pattern has me doing this for 80 rows.